Hit the button, Luke.
Hi guys.
Whoa, we're recording. Whoa.
How are we feeling?
I think I have to go underground again.
There goes Ethan. Oh, friends. Yeah, I'm sweaty. Are we all sweaty?
We all sweaty.
We all sweaty?
No dubs. No dubs.
No doves. We brought doves. Zach brought the doves.
How many bites did we get, though, guys? How many bites did we get in this movie?
We got a flashback to the
Yeah,
Doves drink water by sucking it up through their beaks and then tilting it back with their heads to swallow. This is called slurping.
You want to go see
all the
Mission
facts.
Impossible?
All the facts that you need. All right, guys. How are we feeling?
Needed more planes.
More planes.
Jay, what are your takeaways?
Like more
2 more hours. 2 more hours. Especially with the dive scenes.
I need an intermission. I need special editions.
Yes.
Director's cut.
Director's
At one point,
Yeah.
bathroom and come back.
Yeah. There was a bathroom break. There was a bathroom break. All
Honestly,
right.
movies should do that. A little 5 minutes pause.
My favorite part of the movie was every time the bass got real loud, Justin would get really excited.
That was probably peak arm folding as well.
There was no dance scene or like a rave. There was
No raves. No raves. Very serious movie.
Sorry, spoiler.
Sorry, JD.
A lot of comedic relief with the ending death scene.
Yes. Listen, that one scene. Oh my god.
All right. We'll talk more. Welcome to Podcast Impossible, a special rewatch miniseries from Least Important Things, where we accept the mission of discussing the Mission Impossible franchise and its legacy. You can watch this on YouTube in my parents' basement. You can also listen wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Least Important Things and you'll find us there. Also, please give us all the likes, comments. There's a lot you could comment on. I mean, there's so much to talk about. And you can connect with the show, leastimportantthings.com, on social media, Instagram at Luke H. Ferris, TikTok at Least Important Things, Letterboxd at Luke H. Ferris, and you can email us at leastimportantthings@gmail.com. We're rolling, we're recording. Friends, it's the final Reckoning reaction show. You just heard or watched our initial reactions walking out of the theater. I think we were by far the loudest people in the theater.
Yeah, except for the guy next to me. He was a little bit louder than the rest of us.
So for context, we have our Steam panel and some other friends of the show, and then we were right dead center in the IMAX theater.
Shout out Luke getting tickets.
Yeah, it was there early. It looked like we had saved it like a VIP row.
We were the last people
To sit down.
We were the last ones to sit down.
Made everybody
by far
get
the
up.
loudest. Everyone had to get up, and we made friends. But
After we cut Ross.
Sorry.
Excuse me. Sorry. I have to introduce this esteemed panel. With me, of course. This is gonna be. I feel like I should say this. With me is the Luther to my Ethan, Mike Wynne. Spoiler alerts coming up. I think I just gave a spoiler.
Are we doing our spoiler?
We gotta do the
Are we doing spoilers?
No spoilers yet.
No spoilers
Not any
first.
spoilers yet.
Yeah.
Okay. No spoilers first. Okay.
How you feeling?
Hi, I'm great.
Great. Are you thrilled?
Thrilled. Yes. Elated.
Okay. Thanks for being here. We also have the man tracking down doves and stealing our hearts, Zach Hall. Zach Hall, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I appeared from the shadows. And gave everybody a paper dove.
Yes, if
At
you're
my
watching on
entrance.
YouTube, I have said paper dove.
The message on the back, a fun fact about
Fun fact.
about doves.
And we'll get to more of the doves later.
Will we?
Yes, in a second.
We cannot because it wasn't important in the
No
end.
spoilers.
And last but not least, it's the Warsens. It's Andy and Andy's partner, who I'm just going to call Bri.
That'd be good.
Thank you for both being here. You got sitters.
Is that her name?
Yes. How are you guys feeling on your, you got sitters night off? You got to sit in a theater for 8 hours with us.
Free.
I feel free as a dove.
There you go.
Too soon. Too soon.
Sometimes pigeons.
Sometimes pigeons. Friends, how are we feeling? What's our no spoiler reaction? And first, cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers. We have our Dos Equis.
To our
Cheers.
sponsor.
To our sponsor.
Thank you to
Dos
our
Equis.
sponsors,
Yes.
yeah.
Cheers. How are we feeling right now? Give me your unspoiler feelings, Mike.
Full. I'm
Of popcorn.
yeah, full of popcorn. Pleased. Yeah, I feel good.
Once again, Mike coming in with the great thoughts.
Shocking.
I was asleep for the whole movie.
Kept checking. His eyes were closed, and he was like this, just laughing.
Was it the sub scene? Is that
The
what
subsea just lulled you
Yeah.
to sleep.
Is that
Yes,
when-
that's right.
The rolling.
Yes.
Bree and Andy, you guys were having. This is a little bit meta. I had like moments where I like stepped back and I looked to my left and right, and it made me so happy because all my friends were there in the theater watching a Mission Impossible movie, laughing. It was amazing. But like seeing you guys laugh together, it was just it warmed my heart. But how was it together? Like what was your first initial feelings?
It was intense.
It was.
I felt like Andy probably said it a bunch of times. This is really intense. This is really intense.
Yeah, I feel like I've come down, but like it was one of the weirdest movies in the sense that I felt like I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Yeah.
But also there were moments where I just lost it in laughter.
Yeah.
Sometimes because of the movie, like intentionally, and sometimes unintentionally because we're just weird idiots that like the Mission Impossible series. So it was good. It was very entertaining. 4.5, 5 hours.
Yes, it was full on. Zach, you came in with the fanfare with the doves. We'll get to the doves or the lack of doves. But how are you feeling watching this movie? And for context, for listeners, if you haven't heard any of our episodes of Mission Impossible, you were a staunch supporter of Mission Impossible 2. You hadn't really seen any other of the films besides the first one. You came on our preview extravaganza, still pretty much didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And within the last week, you've binged all of them, so you were
Yes.
ready to go.
I didn't know this.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Whoa.
Guys, I went since our last meeting. I went deep undercover. I went to understand what this franchise is because I had no context. I've learned that it's not Solomon Kane, it's Solomon Lane. I've learned exactly how important that mustache was to Henry Cavill. And as of last night, finished Dead Reckoning. At 11.
It might be too
PM.
much, Zach. That might be too much.
It's really just coming off of that adrenaline high of a week and a half. That's why I showed up in a leather jacket, because I really do feel like I came out of the shadows to meet my team finally and be ready for this final
you were
mission.
ready.
So can we get like could you quickly just top one Mission Impossible movie? You binged them all. You have all of them very fresh.
Do we need a caveat? You can't say two?
Every single one is
Besides
very fresh.
2.
You were fighting that
Besides-
hard for 2, and you saw none of them.
Pretty shocked. She's like,
Honestly, honest answer, I really keep going back to 3.
Thank
It's
you.
like
Thank
I think
you.
you and
Thank
I have
you.
that
Yes.
appreciation for that film. I think it's a different property than anything after that. Like fully.
It's Alias the movie. Got it in. Thank you,
Alias
Jim.
the movie. But I think in these last 2 movies, I was feeling a lot of the same things from 3 that kind of felt like going home. Same with some stuff from 2 too, like except for any reference that exists in the movie. But yeah, I think after week and a half of binging all of these, and I can appreciate this property a little bit more than when you guys last saw me.
That's for sure. This is brand breaking. I had no idea.
It's
incredible.
Eye-opening.
This is why I came with dubs.
Yes.
And
The
nothing
last
else.
thing.
Yeah,
Yes,
nothing
it
else.
He had
It
nothing
does.
else.
I imagine Zach as Ethan coming out of the entity box is what you just did with this franchise. Like
felt exactly
ears
like
bleeding, and just like write this down, write this down.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. That
And a
you
little bit more of a suntan, just because it's been sunny.
Well, friends, thank you for being here. There's so much we could talk about. We're not going to be able to capture it all.
No.
If you haven't seen the movie, we're going to get into some spoilers. We got a couple of special recurring segments we're going to go through, but the spoilers are going to come out. They're bleeding out of us because there's so much to talk about. So if you haven't seen the movie, Go watch it right now. Go to an IMAX. I would suggest if you can get to an IMAX, go see it because it's a lot of fun in the IMAX. So this is your official spoiler warning. Continue, Mark here. Continue on your own behalf. Pause. Go watch the movie. All right, we have to get into our segments before we get into the deep dive discussion. Mike's nap check-in. Now this is the only one where I firmly say you did not fall asleep.
Not only did I not fall asleep, I was not sleepy.
At all.
Which is rare, even when going to the theater for me. So it was a highly engaging movie.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I kept
Good
checking.
job.
Just like
Hashtag
I think
right.
even Justin next to me did a pulse check at one point just to be
pulse
sure.
check.
Yes, yes.
I actually was so into the movie that I didn't realize that I was actually hooked up to a heartbeat monitor. Justin was reading my chart.
If it had fallen under a certain level, the entire theater would have blown up.
Yeah, exactly.
Just didn't know that. Yeah.
Unless you pull the cord.
Is this Rush? Is that or a Speed?
Speed,
Speed
yes,
now?
yeah, right,
This is
yeah.
Speed
Rush,
now.
Rush, different movie.
Different movie.
Good band though.
I would have to say that it was good because you had Zach and Justin next to you.
Yeah,
I
a
think
lot
that
of action
helped.
over
If
there.
you had them watching with every movie, you would probably not fall asleep. So that was good. Justin Felten, friend of the show, was also he came here to record. Jay Ferris, the executive producer, who also lives in the shadows, showed up. So he made an appearance. Our Steam panel got to see our executive producer come out of nowhere.
It was good to see the periphery team also show up.
Yes, the
to
periphery
support
team.
us.
Yeah, it's like if the secretary comes.
Or maybe Luke, with Jay having been around as the executive producer, I mean, are things going okay? Like the executive producer was
he came in
sniffing around.
He was sniffing around. I don't know. There might be some cuts. Yeah, the studio's involved, but Mike,
cut the doves.
I cut the doves.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
Always goes first.
speaking of doves, a new segment, and we're calling it Dove Watch. I don't know if that's a dove sound.
I think that
It was pretty close to a coo.
close.
Yeah.
The Dove
That
Watch.
was my fun fact, was
Yeah.
the cooing.
The
but
cooing. Yes.
I don't know where my dove is.
It's okay.
flew away.
Zach, thanks for joining us on Dove Watch. We were excited. You brought the doves. Really, we were all ready. We were all ready to wait. We did wave our doves, but we were ready to celebrate. Can you confirm, were there any doves in this film?
Not a single dove, and I don't even think that
No
any type
pigeons.
of pigeon, anything that was of nature that flew, or even I don't even know if there was an animal in it. Period.
The
for
dogs.
this
The
one.
dogs.
There's always a
At
dog.
the end,
And at the end-
the animals, they were
Oh,
waving.
waving to Ethan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
As
yeah.
the-
prairie.
That's
Yes,
true.
yeah.
People were waving.
Cows.
to eat
The
it.
cows.
Well,
there
yeah,
was
sorry,
cows.
the animals were
Not
out
the
there.
cows were waving.
You don't remember that
Cows
part.
were present next to the humans that were waving.
Welcome back to Earth, Ethan.
Good job, Ethan.
Nice parachute pole. Second parachute.
Wow. Yeah.
So no doves, no pigeons.
Nothing.
We can officially. It's sad. I thought maybe at the end, because they're in Trafalgar Square, I believe. I thought I was like, okay, there's got to be at least a pigeon.
After watching this for a week and a half, that's like on Letterboxd there is a dove watch. There's
Yes. Follow Zach Hall on Letterboxd.
6 consecutive movies of 0 out of 10 doves.
It's a tragedy.
It's sad.
Is it fair to say that your name on Letterboxd is Dove Watch?
No, it should be.
Are you gonna set up a Letterboxd profile that just rates all of the movies based on the amount
That
of
needs
doves?
to happen.
Need
That's
to
like
do
old
that.
Twitter. I feel like that would be something on original Twitter.
Something
just like,
I would have done as a
Yes,
Twitter
that is-
user
that
way back
is.
in the day. Yeah,
I think they
you're
could have improved on Gabriel's death at the end. Spoiler. That now that we're past, but
Yeah.
instead of the wing slashing him in the face, what if a dove had come out of the air
that was
What
it.
should have okay?
and like blinded his eyes and he
Yes.
fell out? I mean, there was so many opportunities.
I think yes, but what would be even better is death scene, but then a dove just parks itself down, and then somehow sets it on fire. That would be awesome.
They had
Pretty cool.
that opportunity because they were in the air where
Yeah.
the doves live, where they thrive. They didn't
How
happen.
many of these movies have been in the air and still nothing? I didn't even see a single fish, and another part of this movie is underwater.
No,
so.
we didn't get it all. But there's going to be another movie, and we'd have another chance at a Dove Watch. I'm
Absolutely.
almost 100% sure.
The way they left it?
The way they left
Absolutely.
it, there will be another movie.
I do want to celebrate today. We're seeing this. Can I get the date, if that's okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's May 22nd,
Yes.
2025. 29 years ago, May 22nd, 1996. Might be a significant thing in the movie.
Ooh.
This was the first Mission Impossible movie came out this day, 29 years ago.
I did not know that.
Remember
That's
when I
awesome.
was like, I'm going to Google something really quick?
Yes.
That's what I was looking for.
Timeline checks out for the reference to
30 years.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's a good catch.
Which probably had the most references.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
I mean we had
Yeah.
a full montage at the start
Yeah.
recapping everything. I
Yeah.
mean it was like
Everything,
crazy.
though?
Well,
What were we missing?
We were
This is
missing...
good exercise. Because listeners,
We were missing the Chimera virus.
Yeah,
Like,
there's no
there's no
virus.
reference that had no significance.
we didn't get
apparently.
anything. No, we didn't get a lot of Mission Impossible.
that's a
good
in
movie,
the
guys.
montage.
It's a good movie.
It is a good
this is
movie.
a bit of a
Rabbit's foot?
Rabbit's foot.
Rabbit's foot. It's a bit of a rabbit's foot, but yeah, they mentioned rabbit's foot,
Anti-God.
but they don't. And anti-God, which I don't recall anti-God being mentioned in Mission Impossible 3, because Chimera was what they. It was rabbit's foot and Chimera, wasn't it?
Chimera's in 2. Rabbit Foot
Oh.
is 3, along with Benji says that it's the
Anti-God. Yeah, he
in
yeah.
3.
and then it gets cut off really
Okay,
quick
thank
in a
you.
comedic way.
Thank you to our current expert.
Yeah.
I know it.
I'm gonna
know what
assume the man that watched them all this week.
This week, yes.
It's all here.
All right, we're moving on to our next segment, the Bri Paradox.
Oh, boy,
There was a few of these. I think we're
I
very
think
excited.
I had 3 for sure.
It might
Maybe
need
2 bonus.
Okay, just
I had-
go for it.
I'm going to
We'll
agree
go
with
in
all of these.
chronological order, I guess.
Chronological order. That's
I think
fine.
that's the easiest way. The first one was when they were in the prison. Luke and I laughed about this. They were fighting, but Gabriel was getting away, and someone says, he's getting away. You'd think he's like rushing
Running.
out of there.
Yeah.
No, he's gliding his hand along the glass,
Yeah.
just taking his sweet time.
As a taunt, almost
As
to
a
Ethan,
taunt,
like,
yes. Like,
It was very sensual.
Yeah, it was.
Yes,
it
it
was.
was.
There was something there.
Yeah.
someone was, yeah. That was the first
I
one.
was very excited to be in the presence of the
Yeah.
Bri Paradox
Yeah.
and to participate. That was a
It was
highlight
good
for me.
It was good.
Was there like an aura that came?
Yeah, I just could sense it. I heard Bri laughing, and I looked at her, and I was like, I'm in the presence of the Bri Paradox. So happy.
ridiculous. Yeah, so that was the first one. The second one, which we talked about after, the girl holding the mug.
Yes. Which
woman.
yes, you can see we did a pose in front of the
I'm-
poster.
I
as-
want to
with the mugs.
disclaim with this one and my
Yeah.
next one, I am all for women, supporting
Big-
women.
We are too.
Big supporter of women.
Big
here.
supporter of women. So I don't want that discredit. Are we? This one. I am.
Very different podcast.
I am.
It's a very different
All right.
podcast.
Katie O'Brien's great.
Listen,
She's
but when she
awesome
was,
at anything she
it was.
Okay. Yeah. I support women being strong.
Yes.
Okay.
Strong. Yep.
But it gets to a point where it's just too much. The rigid arm, like the flex bicep with the vein. Go you.
Go you.
But the wink, like
The wink, yeah.
holding the mug, it just that was a little
you
too
squirm.
much. Yeah.
It was. We'll talk about this later, but that very much like that is an example of what I really took away from this movie, which I was like, this is a 90s action movie where they had all these characters and everyone got to play around. Like no one, like everyone got to have emote and try something. Like it was very much like every character had a little, not a backstory, but you could play, you could play with it.
Connection.
Yeah.
I do like that she came in later and saved Ethan. I don't know how to say this respectfully. My next one.
You know what's coming.
I do.
Andy and I had a really good.
I think I know. I think I know as well.
This is a PG podcast, correct?
Oh no, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
I
It's
just
fine.
swore like under my voice 3 times
No,
already.
say whatever you
So
want.
when Ethan comes up out of the water, gets
Yes.
saved.
Yep, he has the bends.
My grace, yes.
Okay.
He's getting saved. She's doing chest compressions while also
Haley's Atwells were showing.
her chest compressions were also. Yeah,
It was very
Right there.
it took up about
75 millimeter
2/3 of the frame.
The whole thing.
Haley was showing. There,
Like instead of focusing on Ethan's
Chest.
chest or like
Like the compressions.
his struggle to recover, it focused on her.
And it was held. They changed.
Yes.
It
Camera
was very
Again,
intentional.
it's the 90s. It happens.
It was insane.
Yeah, I support all
we could
women.
not stop laughing in the movie.
Big
So
chest
bad.
or little But again, there's a point, and it just feels like
yeah, the
taking advantage of that.
Yeah, the
little
IMAX
bit.
you couldn't avoid it. It
You
was
couldn't avoid
I don't
it.
even think on your TV. You ignore it. Honestly, it is very apparent.
I literally, so I noticed this, and I literally thought, like, I'm just such a freaking guy. Like,
no,
there's got to be at least one other guy in the movie that recognize how booby this is. So I'm really glad that you pointed this out, because I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like,
No.
we can move to the next scene, please.
I literally look over at Bri and she's like,
I just go,
like,
boobs. Like,
it's also jarring because besides Mission Impossible 2, it's not really like a sexual
No.
franchise at
No.
all.
and they didn't even like kiss after that. That
No.
was
They
the
don't
moment.
they don't kiss
There
at
was
all.
nothing.
No,
in
never.
this franchise, in it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very asexual franchise, which is kind of Tom Cruise to begin with. Like
Yeah.
he's
yes.
that's another podcast.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that was,
Wow.
that was my big one.
Those were the big ones.
And on the flip side of that, she always was rocking the power suit.
Yes.
Like the opposite at the end, which goes to my bonus. Their wardrobes throughout the seasons or locations they were in, where are they carrying that? Where are they getting it?
There's always an IMF like
Department store?
Department store. The safe houses always have clothing.
You know how, like, in the last movie, like, he pulled up, like, on his phone app, the IMF app.
The
Yeah,
IMF app, which
Yeah,
we talked
safe
about
house,
in the preview
safe-
extravaganza. We
Yeah.
talked
safe
about the
car.
logistics and the business structure.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Pick your outfit.
Very-
Your sizes are pre-programmed.
Yes.
You know, what's the there's actually like a name for the type of person that comes to your house and tailors you.
Tailor,
No.
Stitch Fix,
No, that's different.
IMF Fix.
You're gonna have to edit all this out.
Brought to you by.
Keep it
It's I don't know, but
Thank you, Mike. Once
Stylist?
again,
So there's,
coming
but
through.
who would play this person is what if you had someone that
Tim
came,
Gunn comes in.
Tim Gunn with the IMS. He made the choice too. Tim Gunn.
Oh my gosh, what's it?
Haberdash.
Haberdash. Thank
Haberdash.
you.
Yeah,
That's the
good call,
term.
We got it.
That's
we got
your
it.
Haberdash. Okay,
Haberdash.
Tim Gunn. IMF
Haberdash. I like it. You know what? I do have to say the sweater game was strong when they were in the
Yes.
Arctic. So I would say really good sweater game.
Huge turtleneck.
Yeah, yeah.
After
yeah,
he came
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Like the guy you don't like, his sweater was on point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was-
but his shooting was not.
Good setup there.
All have our strengths.
Who are we talking about, Mike? Right now?
Degas or
Degas.
Degas. Doesn't matter. He's useless. just like the S in his name. Okay. just useless. There for show.
Just can't hit it.
Yes.
I could
that's
hit the
like-
broadside of a barn.
No.
He was
A couple times.
Yeah, he didn't. He was just. I mean, he looked good.
He was a
You like
callback because he was Briggs's.
Yeah.
You know.
It was
him and Briggs had divergent.
Yeah,
paths in this
it was
movie.
like not necessary. It was just another body.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
if the stormtrooper flips sides, can he still shoot anybody?
That's so good.
I mentioned that. I'm like, I actually think this is a setup for him to be a double agent.
No, yeah.
I actually thought that was
fully
coming
is.
too. Yeah.
So and also him like choosing to stay back and then potentially die. I was like, okay, at least they recognize that he's useless. But no, they save him. Why?
Three of them.
I don't know.
I love this is like when Mike gets on his hot takes. It's like it's just talk radio. Why is Degas in this movie? Is he a double agent? No, he's useless.
Yeah.
And he doesn't show up in the clutch.
I was
they
weird because
spin off of
I
him?
thought he was gonna sacrifice himself so the
I
couple.
thought he was
I
going to do
wish
it
he would.
twice.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
first
something.
time. And then they stayed.
He didn't sacrifice himself
And
at all.
then-
Waiting for him to be useful.
Were you really disappointed?
In Degas? Yeah.
Degas?
No, at the very end where they have the memory.
Yeah. What is the name of the new? That's
entity?
That's housing the entity. What did they call that?
Terabytes and terabytes.
Terabytes and terabytes. Okay, we'll get into
golden
that. We'll
stick.
get into that.
The
We'll
golden
get into
stick.
that.
Were you really disappointed
Stick of
when he
butter.
appeared at the end? When the couple appeared? And
What?
then it took him like 10 seconds to appear out of the shadows
Oh.
because he was alive.
Yeah, it was a trick. They
It
tricked
did.
Mike.
It did. It showed the couple, and then there was a pause.
Yeah.
And Dagon comes through.
And Dagon came
and Mike
through.
walked out of the theater.
I wanted to.
Bri, is there any other paradoxes? Paradoxes.
Paradoxes.
I don't think so.
Paradox.
No, that's
Shout out to the Bri
So-
Paradox. And just
Thank you.
hot off the press, too, which is fun. It's fun to get them hot off the press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did get worried for a little bit. I was like, am I going to find anything in this movie? But
yeah,
I
right
didn't.
away.
it came through. It
Yeah.
came through. It
Well,
came
after
through.
that, after the first one,
You're
I
like,
was
okay, you're in safe hands.
concerned. Yeah,
Literally.
I was
It
concerned.
like opens a door for your mind. Like you see on the movie.
Yes, once you have entered the paradox, you can see it completely.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
different level. It's a higher plane, some would
like
say.
the entity.
Yes, just like the entity. All right.
Why is the
am.
entity just a lens flare, guys? It's just a lens flare. It's just a lens flare.
It was meditative for me. I was like, I kind of need to go in the deprivation chamber and just like tell the entity tells me my whole life. I like it.
Oh god.
I wonder who did the voice of the entity. I feel like it was the director McQuarrie.
Yeah, I felt like it was.
I feel like it was him modulated. We're going to talk about the entity because something happened in this movie. I don't know if Chris McQuarrie had listened to the show. If you listened to the second Mission Impossible episode that the great Zach Hall was on, we started this bit in this podcast. This bites
this
about
bite.
storage capacity,
Yes.
and it all came because well, and really it's
The
it's
floppy
all,
disk. Started with the floppy
It does
disk.
start with the
So
floppy
much-
disk.
They address it so often in this movie.
They
This
do.
movie is like doubles down on it.
Yeah.
They talk about floppy disks. They talk
Yep.
about storage, and a lot of the things we talked about in this extravaganza, like how is the entity going to be able to run and do things?
Yeah.
There was
There's
a server farm.
VHS tape in the first.
There
the
is.
first shot is
Yeah.
a VHS
tape. It's amazing.
so nice.
And then eventually the entity is on a flash drive.
Yeah.
A yellow flash drive. It's the entire. It's a stick about it. It's the plot of the movie. It's the plot of. I looked at you guys and I was like, I cannot believe they listened to our show and they said we're gonna yes and continue to double down on the storage conversation.
And it's made by none other than Luther.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. So did some quick research. So I actually on this idea of
Wait,
storage
what?
capacity.
Sorry to interrupt. What was the other two? It was terabytes and the extra
Exabyte.
exabyte.
I couldn't remember it either because
Yes.
I've never heard of it.
So here's the thing. They mention that stick of butter.
Yes.
Its official name.
The stick of butter.
It's got like
I
360.
can't believe it's not the entity.
It's got like
Until it is, it's a little messed
365 terabytes on it, or something like that. So
Yeah.
365 terabytes. Crap ton of memory, right?
Yes.
Okay, we all know a terabyte is massive. At least I think
Storage,
we all
not
know.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not a correct podcast. Let's keep it going.
Lovers, not experts. They say that after they bring up exabytes. I feel like that was the wrong order.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
the exabytes are on. That was about.
That's the data
server,
center, which
server
I correctly
farm.
predicted we would have a data center.
Did you see the huge fans in the background? That
Yeah.
was a nice
Yeah.
nod to us as well, because we're like, how are they cooling off the store? And there was
Water below.
There was water below, huge
Yep.
ass fan, and the big ass fan in the back.
Yeah.
And it was. I was really happy.
So an exabyte is 1 quintillion megabytes,
What?
Dang.
which is 1,000,000 terabytes.
Whoa.
Oh,
That's a lot.
Stick of butter.
So what's
That-
one level
that's a
up from
stick
that?
of
'Cause
butter.
I can tell you how many floppy disks it was.
Yeah. How many
So a floppy disk is 1.4 megabytes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yes.
Yeah.
But what's whoa?
Whoa.
Because there is like that polarizing end of it, and then the cabin, which is all like analog. And there's like DVDs and books on the
Yeah,
wall.
I
All
noticed
those
that.
get
It was that.
burned.
Yeah, I know. I
Gross.
was like, there was a moment I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
for like all the Blu-ray boys.
I was waiting for him to say that he took the coordinates out of the floppy disk and put them on like a Betamax or something.
Because they were working with Laserdisc in there too. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
It was a theme throughout the movie. It was analog and kind of digital. It's the theme that was started in the last movie, but really it was heightened. And I just
There's
it
a
was
choice,
crazy.
Luke, that you have to make, and it is: do you go VHS or do you go Stick of butter.
Stick of butter. I go VHS all the way
cool.
instead of stick of butter. But I couldn't believe it. And thank you, Chris McQuarrie, for listening and writing that into this film. It was amazing. Yeah. All right, we're on to the kind of the topic of the day is like, where are we at with this franchise? I thought we were gonna have this wrapped up. I thought Ethan might die. Not only is Ethan alive and well, maybe he suffers some like brain damage from the bends, but he walks away with the entity. So not only is Ethan still alive, the IMF kind of still alive.
The plot's there.
The plot's there. Like, it's a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I did not. That was the one thing I was not expecting, is that big of a cliffhanger. The other big kind of reveal is we have two characters that tie in with the franchise. Don Lowe from the first movie is in there, and there was rumors, amazing. And we didn't talk about it in the preview show. There was rumors he was going to have a cameo. He doesn't have a cameo. He
stars in it.
He stars. He's on the team. I just loved it, and I'm really glad he didn't die. I was worried he was going to die in the fire. And then we have the reveal that trying to remember his fake name. Briggs
is the son
of the original team leader, Jim Phelps.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So when at that point I was like, oh, I see what they're doing. They're going to set up a TV series for Paramount Plus or whatever it is, and they're going to like go back to making a Mission Impossible TV show, and he'll be the team leader, and maybe Benji will have a cameo. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like they're setting it up for a prestige spin-off series, but no, we have a full cliffhanger with Entity. I was really surprised because I thought maybe it was going to be a set up for something else, and it was not. I was shocked. What did you guys think about the cliffhanger and just overall where we're at with the franchise?
I thought more people would die.
Yeah, well,
to be honest, I really did. I mean, Luther was an obvious one because we saw the medical equipment in the preview
and the voiceover.
And the voice,
yeah,
like,
it was like a double trick. We all on the preview show. There was some panelists. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. Were very, very adamant that Benji was going to die. Talking to you, Daniel. Talking to you, Jim.
Jim Hargrove.
You were wrong.
Looking right at
You were wrong.
Now that I know who he is to it, yeah, I agree.
Daniel or Jim Hargrove?
Benji, sorry. Benji.
Now that Zach knows who Benji is.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, guys. Just wasn't knowledgeable.
But Luther did die. Pouring out for Luther.
Yeah.
We're having Dos Equis in honor of Luther.
What's the name that he always says? Like,
from the first movie.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's his nickname that he's known for.
Yeah, it's his final line though, which is
it is, sweet. And he cuts the wire, and then he gets the voiceover at the end, which I totally forgot about.
Yeah,
it was really cool to hear his voice.
It was 2.5 hours later from when you first heard it.
Yeah,
totally forgot.
Or were told about it. So.
Yeah. What other reactions do you guys have? Like, what stood out to you as what were your favorite scenes? What were your favorite moments, Zach?
I do need to say I think it's unconscionable to make another action movie for about 5 years. I think that Hollywood should stop for a little bit. This was pretty intense, and it did
super intense.
I think I noticed at the 2-hour mark that we were like maybe going too long.
Yes,
but I think in there I really enjoyed. If I can highlight it and not step in front of anybody else, the sub scene is
the sub scene is just amazing. Amazing.
That's like all practical effects. We were trying to figure out exactly how they were doing that. There's some elements that probably weren't, but it's so intense from the moment he gets launched out of the tube. Like, beyond that, it's crazy how I want to see the behind the scenes. I don't watch a lot of BTS stuff, but
and they do release them. I was telling after the movie we were talking, I avoided those because I wanted just to experience it as a movie. But it was crazy, just especially with the camera movement, with
rolling.
I don't know. Did you notice the aspect ratio change, Zach? It changed right before when he went in the sub.
It did.
No.
Yeah,
I watched the movie.
You watched the movie. I don't always notice it. I probably in Fallout I was always noticing it, but I wasn't noticing it as much in this movie.
So that's where they essentially they're Zach. I don't know why I'm explaining.
Yeah, they're switching from like a regular format film to essentially IMAX width height rather.
Yeah.
So and you see that a lot in IMAX. Like they don't film everything in IMAX quality film. So the 75 millimeter, just like 75 millimeter boobs, is very different.
Very different.
That was
I don't actually
that
think
was
that's
IMAX.
IMAX
It was for IMAX.
But for the sub scene, I think it's even more cool. I love the ending of that right before boobs.
Yeah.
Because they
Pretty much
turn it
the
on.
hinge
Yeah.
point of the movie for Zach is the boobs.
that was when everything just really fell down. But that was the final reckoning for me.
That was a great shot. No, I agree. Under the ice.
Yeah,
that was a
Yeah,
great
that
shot.
was really
Yeah.
cool.
So they do turn the camera because there's a lot of Dutch angles in these last two
Yeah,
movies.
there
So
are.
like these. It's like a
Yeah.
Transformers film. But they do a full
Yeah.
180, so it looks like he's laying on clouds. At
Yeah.
the end. Like he's about to die. This is it. But it wasn't too long enough into the movie to really.
Yeah,
that
but
happen.
it was like,
But, yeah.
when we talk about this movie, like, it's the stunts are like the show.
Yeah.
But that was a true cinematic moment where they took extra time to like have that
Yeah.
intense scene.
And they just in sub scene, just to finalize that, they kept building it. Like they
Yeah.
kept adding to it and adding to it to the point where he's just like, oh, he's gonna keep the suit on. No,
No,
he's not gonna
no,
keep the suit on. And that's where I was like, wow! Like I was loud during that part. Like that was a brave choice.
It was it was like ratcheted, like every single, and that, I mean, we're used to that in this franchise, but I couldn't believe it was just like, oh no,
It was
again,
straight up.
again.
Yeah.
Justin afterwards, he was saying, and he got hit by 3 subs,
exactly.
which is great when he first is like about to go out of the U.S. sub and then sees the the Russian sub that's like right on their tail. It was a cool,
Looked like a whale.
yeah, it did,
It looked like a big blue whale.
it did.
I thought finally wildlife.
Nope.
Zach, to your point on the sub scene though, I don't typically notice scores in movies, but the score during that scene was
it
so
was like the
good.
chanting. It was kind of
the
chanting.
Yeah.
So good.
It was a little bit of like the Harkonnen theme in Dune, a little bit there,
yeah,
but,
yeah.
but yeah, it was still different enough where it added to like the tension and the kind of quietness of that scene.
Yeah, shout out Devin Smith. He's a score guy.
Oh yeah.
So.
Not listening.
Shout out to Devin.
Amazing. Go for it, Devin. Yeah, I mean, this franchise has done a couple of things with sound that are interesting, like no sound or really changing up from just that typical rock anthem that they do for Mission Impossible movies. I think that's a really cool thing that you notice, Mike, because like that just adds this tension to that movie that is really incredible.
Oh, it was. I'm worried about Tom. I'm worried for him. Bri and
He
Andy,
looks good,
He
dude.
does.
Why are
he
you
looks.
worried?
I'm just worried about him hanging off planes.
Yeah, that's good.
Speaking of planes and him hanging off planes, I was wondering if he was wearing a toupee at some point. His hair, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
And the way it was being blown about, it just felt.
There
a
might be
little fake.
some. There might be some enhancements.
no shame.
No. I mean, he's
No shame.
62 years old.
Yeah.
And you could, but to your point, when he's hanging off a plane and the wind's blowing his hair, I mean, you could actually see the gray hairs. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yes.
Like
yes.
there was
yes.
like the streaks of gray hair, but it
At the
stayed.
core.
If it's just, he's doing something and it's working.
You know, people
It's all
with
CGI.
Tom's level of income, I'm guessing not a toupee. That's usually
Hair
a
plugs.
flight to Turkey.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a visit to Turkey.
Yep.
But it looked good. It looked good, and they did call it out, which I appreciate. Grace calls it out, or was that Grace where she's like,
Yeah, I like
the
your
long-
hair.
I like the
Yeah.
long
I like
hair.
your long hair.
I was like, do you really want to dye in that hair though, man? I don't know. There's been a lot of them. A lot of better ones, I thought.
I know. Bri and Andy, what else stood out besides Tom Cruise's hair?
Yeah.
Hair work.
I thought the thing that obviously it's a very intense movie, but the scenes that there's climactic scenes throughout the movie. It kept progressively getting harder.
Yes.
In the scene, like in the scene itself.
Right.
Like trying to escape the sub, everything's falling on him. Then he can't get out of the torpedo because there's a torpedo in there,
Oh.
and then he can't fit through, so he's got it like, and then his bag gets caught, and then there was like that's just one example, but that's like throughout, and you're just like at one point I noticed people behind me saying, "Oh my gosh, he can't get out of this again," and I was
I
like,
heard
this,
yeah.
That might have been me.
it was
No, it was a lady.
so they did provide comedic moments
Yeah.
like intentionally in this.
Yeah.
Some of them hit, some of them were a little
I was gonna say
Cringy.
these movies do a good job of kind of breaking the tension, but not distracting from it. Like the torpedo when he opened the thing and it was right there. You know when you park too close to somebody and
Oh,
you
that
like
was
try
so
and
good. Yes.
try and like squeeze into your car. That kind of
Gotta go through the passenger seat.
yeah, like oh let me
It
just
was,
squeeze.
squeeze right past you.
Well, I was during that portion. I was like, good thing he did that run on the treadmill before this. Lost maybe a pound doing that. Squeeze right in there.
The shot of
Suck it
him
in a
in the
little bit.
tube when he was crawling in, I was getting claustrophobic.
That freaked me out.
The deep sea in general, I could
No.
not think
Big
about
no.
that.
I thought
too
about
hard.
that like
Big
in the
no.
middle. Like I was like watching that, and I was like, I can't imagine being in that scenario because I would just be panicking because like not only are you seeing dead Soviet preserved
Yeah.
bodies.
Sorry, Russians.
Those were so. Oh no, they were Russian because it was 2012.
Yeah, it was like
I don't know.
29,
Did you see Hunt for Red October?
I've been on like a 80s 90s action kick, really nostalgic for the Soviet Union. This is gonna get
David
taken down.
Hasselhoff should have taken down that wall.
No,
You're right.
no. You could go back at Bri and Andy. I cut you guys off.
Yeah. No, the other scene I really enjoyed was the plane, but specifically when they were going through the valley.
Yeah.
That was just
Yeah.
a
beautiful
shot from behind as the planes were flying through. It was like,
The
I would
IMAX.
like to go there.
The IMAX it's worth going to IMAX for the plane specifically. That was, and obviously the sound was great, but like just seeing those planes, you're like, oh, that's real. Oh, that's Tom. Hi, Tom. Oh, I didn't realize how much he was going to be on the plane.
Yeah.
It's a lot of strength to hold himself up.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy. Just the things he did. I don't know. There was only one shot that took me out of it, and it was not Tom's fault. It was when they showed the actor. I can't remember.
Okay, can we talk about how like when Tom's climbing up the side of an
Gabriel.
airplane and nobody notices that
Yeah.
there's a dude on the side of the
Stop where he
airplane?
kind of just pokes his head out.
Well, that's the humor. Is like you would
Yes.
never expect
Yeah.
is like just like
Exactly.
the random dude that's flying the other plane.
But the assistant dude doesn't even react. Like he's
No.
just scared. And even Gabriel has the same reaction for a moment. Like, okay, we're really just extending time, or they're just that dumbfounded. I
Yeah,
guess,
I
right?
would be
Is that it?
dumbfounded.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was one shot of the actor who plays Gabriel, and you could see it wasn't. I was like, well, yeah, he's not going to be going up there on the plane hanging off it with Tom. But other than that, it was just crazy. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
It was death-defying. Like it definitely. He would that one, like out of all the stunts he's done, hanging on the carrier plane in 5, the motorcycle jump, obviously extremely dangerous. All those are very dangerous, but 2 biplanes that are I don't know if they were new planes or whatever, and I'm sure they had protective stuff, but just flying in a canyon, let alone hanging off of it. I don't care if you're strapped on.
Yeah.
So many things could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even about height. It's just the amount of movement that's happening with the plane too. It could be dangerous. There's a propeller there. Like, there's so many.
That's
things
how
that are,
I don't know
right
how.
there.
Like, it doesn't matter if he's
Yeah.
strapped in and they took out the. It doesn't matter. Like, there's a propeller right there.
Yeah,
It's,
you're getting jostled between like
The
2
planes
wings.
hitting each
yeah,
other.
nonstop.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
it's crazy. It was crazy, and it was. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, and that's a lot for this franchise.
Mike, I got a question. How do you feel about the president? Because wasn't it you that had the gripe, like, how is she even president? Or maybe it was you, Luke, because she made the horrible call of putting...
Well, yeah, Angela Bassett.
Henry Cavill.
And we knew she was president for the last movie. We see her photo in the background, so we know she's... I thought she did a great job, because I
thought
think...
she really improved, yeah.
Yeah, she really improved after... Yeah,
Angela
throwing the lot-
Bassett did a good job.
Yeah,
but
she was
it doesn't
great.
explain why she's president.
Hey, you know what? I don't think the public knew about John Lark. I think that was underrated.
Well,
Yeah,
it's just
you're right.
I don't know. When's the last time we had a former CAA director become
Being
president?
yeah.
Different
Never.
times. It's the entity's world. We're living in the entity's reality.
It's true. The entity probably manipulated the votes and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I know.
Why would
I
you
know.
do
Yeah,
that?
yeah. But she made the right choice. She decided not to. I thought that was great. I again, going back to the 90s action movie, I did like that we had the war room, and we talked about how they progressively are getting sweatier and taking like their ties off, and the tension. That's like a thankless acting job, I can assume, like, because you're on a set and you're trying to enhance the intensity of the movie, but you're saying a lot of like ridiculous lines.
Yeah, I was going to say that this is the prime example of the unintentional humor of the movie, is this scene when they're discussing what will happen, the death toll of, sending off 8 nuclear missiles into the world. And I forget this dumb advisor's name. You always got to have one on the panel. That's like, yeah, when you press this button, it's going to set off an unprecedented political crisis. What?
We all laughed because it was like, yeah, no shit,
The whole
Sherlock.
theater did.
Yeah. It was just like,
Yeah.
Like, that's the repercussion you're
worried
noting
about
right
that?
now?
You're worried about that?
Oh,
yeah, the
man.
politics of, like, essentially it's Mad Max. It's
Yeah,
going to turn to Mad
that's
Max.
crazy.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
We got to talk about some of the new actors that were in
Yeah.
this movie. Nick Offerman, who played a general, which was interesting. At first I was like, why is he in this? And essentially it's kind of the turn. They're using Nick Offerman because he is a really interesting actor. I think, like Bri, we talked about that in the preview show. It's like, it's hard not to see Ron Swanson, but I think you're playing with the audience expectations. We're like, he could be bad. He might not be bad. He ended up being good in the end.
Ron Swanson protecting the government.
I think though,
Wouldn't have it any other way.
I wouldn't have it
I
any
didn't
other way.
realize he was shot in that sequence.
You did the whole.
There's a
I
hole.
didn't. No, I didn't see it.
You missed the
really
whole.
hard to
I
see.
missed the whole.
Oh, man.
All of a sudden, he was like dying. I was like, "Why are you dying, dude? You just saved her. Nice shot."
It's like 100%.
medals.
I feel like what happened was like they shot that scene, and the props team was like, "No, we don't need to do.
We don't need
blood or
squib. We don't
anything."
need
Yeah.
squib. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just got the whole, and then they shoot the scene, and then McQuarrie's in the editing room. He's like, "These freaking props, you can't reshoot it.
Yeah. And you can't add CGI
You can't,
blood.
you can't touch it up."
So that was a surprise for me. I didn't realize he was dying until he died.
He's just tired.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm exhausted.
Sit down.
It's a long shot, too. It is a long shot. And I didn't notice
Legitimately,
either.
I thought he shot his son, or he was related to the guy, and he was sitting down because he was so he couldn't believe what he just did, and then he died.
Just let the world end.
Anyway, sorry.
They saved the
Sorry.
precedent.
done.
That's fine.
Then we have to talk about Tremel Tillman, who we talked about in the preview show extensively. That we were like, he's in this movie. He's up and coming, and he stole every scene. The Mr. conversation was amazing. I love that. He references Ethan as Mr. He was by far one of my favorite
was
parts of
great.
the
He
movie.
was so good.
I could use 5 spin-off movies, sub-movies, where he's the sub-commander. Please, I green light that movie, Paramount, because I will watch that. He was incredible.
Well, it was a little side movie going on there where he was actually the star of The Hunt for Red October.
I know.
Thought it was
They
a
found the
spin-off.
sub.
And they found it.
Every scene he was in was amazing, especially because he does the turn. What is it? I can't remember what he says. Where he's like, "If you're looking for someone to poke the bear, I'm your guy."
Yeah.
It was great because typically what those roles are, they're like, "Oh no, we have to follow protocol," and he's like, "Nah, I'm game. I like you, Ethan." He's like, "I'm ready to play."
He didn't need any convincing.
No, he didn't. He didn't. And that's one of Ethan's superpowers. He's vulnerable and authentic, and he can, he makes friends and influences people. Some would say.
Definitely read
Okay,
that
Dale
book.
Carnegie.
Well, he is from the Midwest.
He is from the Midwest,
so it's
which we found
very
out.
Much.
How many times have they opened the file and looked at his photo and no one has ever seen his
He's from
hometown?
Madison, Wisconsin.
Madison, Wisconsin.
That's crazy.
Madison, Wisconsin, a
Wow.
true Midwesterner,
New
just
dub.
nice and doesn't want conflict.
Good town.
Buries his emotions. It's beautiful. Yeah. All right, friends. There's so much to talk about, but I it's late. We've been watching a lot of Mission Impossible, talking a lot of Mission Impossible.
Just Zach. Just really just
Zach. I'm worried about
What are
Zach.
you going to watch next?
I had to put a lot aside to get to this.
Are
honestly.
you through Andor yet?
And just I got to do the rest of the Star Wars. Actually, You're right.
yes,
That's next up
yes.
on the list. So, yeah.
Final thoughts before we move on to ranking this movie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Zach, we'll just go around the horn.
Okay, I've been holding back. I don't think I should actually. I think
Go.
I think
This
the
is it.
excitement of this movie is great to talk about, and I really enjoy where we are. And after watching everything, we have hit a huge milestone in this series. But
This is very Mission Impossible
Yeah.
to have a but.
and I'm
after
very happy
explaining
that
it.
we ended on this. But I'm very happy that we ended on this note because I did not like Dead or Reckoning, and I know, right?
Wow.
So this is a really cool way to, even if it is going to be a pause or something like that, or they're going to reshuffle. I think it's a really good way to start whatever is going to be coming next for Ethan Hunt or the IMF. So
Yes.
Yeah, as a person that hasn't been to a movie in a while.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Why are you
Exactly
prioritizing going to?
Not a full year yet.
It was awesome to be in the theater for that movie. Most Mission Impossible movies, to be in the theater for it's great.
Yeah.
And it was entertaining. Like Mike said, all of a sudden we are talking about the length when we're making fun of it, but for most of it you didn't realize it was all of a sudden 2 hours later.
No.
Because there's so much action, it's so intense, and you're fascinated with the plans. I thought one of the cool things that they did is the montages of explaining their plan.
Yeah.
And they were going back and forth between like where Ethan was and where
the quick cutting and going back and forth.
Yeah, where Benji was explaining as well. That I thought that kept it better than just somebody monologuing the whole thing.
Yeah.
With that, I felt like a lot of questions were answered, even like my whys. But then they explained it. But even though it was a big cliffhanger, I feel like they wrapped up a lot of stuff, which is really nice. Like going back to the first movie and everything.
Yeah, they did full circle.
Full circle.
Oh no, Mike just
Mike,
hit the wall.
Big Mike. Mike's about to fall asleep.
I'm 20 minutes into the movie, I was pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
I thought the pacing of the movie 20 minutes in was really bad.
Was that when the
everything before the
credit came up?
Yeah.
Yeah, the cold open.
I agree.
Yeah.
It
wasn't for you.
We missed the cold. It wasn't really even like a cold open.
it was a recap for someone who had not seen any of the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
It would have been if Zach didn't do what he just did the past week, it would have been perfect.
I really regretted my time.
Yeah, you didn't need to.
You
You didn't need to spend the 8 hours that you did.
I
But
know.
we thank you for your service.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That being said, I really enjoyed it overall. I think I liked Dead Reckoning more than you did.
That's fair.
Probably because there weren't any doves in it.
That's
Wow,
it's more. It's Gabriel mostly, and some other stuff.
Is it because
but,
he's too handsome?
He is a handsome man.
No, I love that. I love the face.
Yes.
Unless
Love
it
the
doesn't
face.
show up on
I
camera.
would say this movie is worth seeing in the theaters, as are all the movies in this franchise, but specifically that sub scene. I think it's going to be difficult to watch at home. The colors on the TV are not going to. They're not going to work well.
Yeah. And I think it won't. If you're not surrounded by it, you might actually lose focus. If you're not like tuned into the movie already.
Yeah.
So I feel like that would definitely be an inflection point for you, Mike.
if you're falling asleep.
Yeah, exactly. Not to poke fun, but I think it is one of those spots where
Those
it could be.
deep guttural chants will
Yes,
definitely
in the
put me to
water.
sleep.
Just slowly drift off to sleep.
Yeah. So no, it was good. It was good.
I love you. I really enjoyed it. Yes, Zach, go ahead.
Can you give us one word review?
Ooh, one word review.
Yes. If you follow Mike on Letterboxd, he is the king of one-word reviews.
Or maybe give it with your
Maybe
I,
he's a score.
look, I think follow me on Letterboxd.
Yeah, to
One-
find out.
Yeah.
He's learning. He's
Yes,
learning.
that's good.
Perfect.
There we go.
Now he's got time.
Yes.
It's true. Thank you for pointing out that I do one word reviews.
Yes. Amazing. Friends, this was such a great. Every time we get to do this in person, if you follow me on Letterboxd, you know there's usually a full star, half star bump if I see movies in the theater. This was a quadruple million star bump
5
because
stars.
I had so much fun watching it with all you guys. So thank you for showing up and making my year. It was so much fun. I don't know how you can top some of those sequences. They always seem to. I think Tom Cruise, Chris McQuarrie, the whole team who made this movie should be applauded. It is a theater movie. You have to see it in the theater. You're doing a disservice to yourself if you don't see it in the theater. I think we started a movement in our theater at Celebration Cinema North in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We started an applause.
Whenever he ran, we were.
Was that us or was that the guy sitting next to you?
The guy sitting next to us was whooping stuff, but we were definitely leaders. Like I felt like we had brought him into our group.
Yeah.
He was definitely.
Did we get his name?
No, we didn't get his name. We listen to the podcast.
Yeah, because I could have gone to him and be like, hey, you're part of the group? Because I really thought he was your guys' friend. Like, I just really thought.
You did know. I bought a lot of
Yeah,
tickets.
and I went
We
over
didn't
to
know who was
Justin.
gonna-
Yeah, because I knew there was an open ticket, and I was like, Justin, do you know this guy? It's that. I could have bobbed right. I bobbed left.
That's very dangerous because Justin could have just gone with the bet. It's like, oh, that's Tim.
Yeah. It's so true.
But it was so fun. I felt like I haven't had experience like a live event with people experience like that in a while. I think like when Zeki brought the doves in and we started waving them, I could hear people laughing in the background, which is good. Like people are there to have fun. I thought like people seemed like all in on the movie. Like I felt people started like cheering and kind of joining in. I'm not saying that we did it all, but I also think we did. And I think that is what the movies are all about and why Tom Cruise is so adamant about the movies is because you can have experience like that. It's not a perfect movie. I'm really glad the entity was not the focus. I'm glad it wasn't overly this like AI. It was more circumstantial.
Yeah.
That was the best. And I'm glad Gabriel just got like kind of killed off and he wasn't controlling the entity. I really like that. Having him as more of a fable to like get in the way of Ethan, and his death was amazing.
Awesome. Just great clincher.
Because they're self-aware. They know what the
They know
audience
what they
wants.
made. They know what they created.
Yes, and they know what the audience wants. Like they
Yeah.
know that like he's a beautiful man, the actor, but like they know Gabriel's not the most favorite villain in the franchise, and he was killed in
Not
a
even close.
hilarious, surprising way.
Yeah.
I'm sad we lost Luther, but I'm glad we still have Benji, and I really like the team that we had. We talked about in the preview. No Ilsa come back. I thought about that. I was like, is Ilsa going to come back? No, we didn't get that, but she's busy doing other stuff.
They replaced her with 3 other people.
Yes. So that's how good Ilsa is. But overall, I thought it was an incredible movie, but even a better experience because of you guys. So thanks for coming, and it was so much fun. And I thought this would be the last podcast impossible, but it probably won't.
What's your rank?
All right, out of 5 masks, Zach, we'll start with you.
Oh my god. I thought we were going to do it first. I'm going to do 3.5, but I'm going to bump it up to a 4 for the in-theater IMAX experience. It is worth it.
Yes.
After watching everything on a very small screen, including Fallout, which I really wish I had actually seen it in IMAX, this is definitely worth it for that. So 4 stars.
Andy.
4 masks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll go 4-5. I think Fallout was a 5, and that was my favorite of the
franchise,
series
yeah.
of the franchise. Taken down a little bit. We didn't mention the masks. A little anticlimactic on
Only
the masks.
Only two
And
masks
right
reveals
away
right at the start.
And they were just right away. Brought up a little bit by Haley Atwell learning how to sled dog.
Yeah, that was cool. We
on
didn't
the fly
talk about
in a different
that.
language.
Yeah, that was
pretty
Yeah.
neat.
That was a fun conversation.
I leaned over to Bri and I was like, "Oh, this is like Cuba Gooding Jr. Eight
Snow
Below."
Dogs.
That's not Ava.
That's not Eight Below.
Snow Dogs.
Snow Dogs. Thank
Snow
you.
Dogs. Yes, it was reminiscent.
So I really enjoyed the movie. I did.
Yeah.
Bri,
I'd say 3.5.
3.5 masks.
Nothing too like
Is it the boobs?
ridiculous. Yeah, the boobs. Take it down to full 2.
Someone should have masked those boobs, actually.
Yeah, there was nothing like super ridiculous. Obviously, the boobs made it kind of like I don't want to watch this right now. But it was pretty good.
Michael?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 34. See, I mean,
I need to go back and go in deep.
Yes,
Cover
something
now
about
after that.
recording in my parents' basement is like we're now all 15 years old.
Yeah.
I want to give it 4.5 masks for the Mission Impossible franchise, but it will not be getting 4.5 on Letterboxd.
Okay, so
it'll
there'll be
it would probably be like 3.5 or 4. I normalize.
You're very stingy.
I normalize my rankings.
Yeah, on the pod versus on Letterboxd. So there could be so if people are like, "Whoa, what's going on, Mike? You're not
consistent.
Yeah,
You're a
it's like,
liar."
but
Yeah.
listen to the episode. Listen to the whole episode.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 masks, and then if you add the theater bump, it is 25 out of 5 masks. I think we had 2 stunt sequences that are some of the most amazing things I've ever seen in a movie. I've never seen anything like that. Well, friends, thank you again for joining us on this mission. Thank you, listeners, viewers. Enjoy the movie. Enjoy this moment in this franchise in cinema history. And we'll see you next time on a new mission. Who knows? We don't know.
Hopefully, like 5 years from now, right?
Yeah.
I need 5. Yeah,
Zach needs a break. Cheers to Luther.
Cheers.
To Luther. To the franchise.